Guys, I've had to redo this like twice. Welcome back to Starving and Staying. We are on the second episode. By this point, that first episode would have already been edited and out, and I really hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed making it and editing it and working very hard on it. In lieu of today's episode, I have, I think, two main topics I want to talk about. I have a not so much serious topic, but more of a brain teasing kind of moment, if that makes sense. Like almost like something I really want everyone to think about. And then I have sort of a funny, happy topic. The first topic, I'm just going to get the kind of brain teaser topic out of the way. It's the idea of getting used to something. I was thinking about this a lot this week. When you start something new, there's always two people in regards to starting something new. Actually, there's like three people. There's you. You're almost, I want to say, in the middle in the beginning, which is weird because most people would be like, but in the beginning, aren't you, I don't know how you would say in the beginning or the end. No, you're in the middle because you have the person who has, we'll say in time spans, a year experience, and then you have the person behind you who hasn't even thought about trying this new thing. You, as the person in the middle, are looking at the person who has a year's worth of experience, and you look at them and you go, wow, I will never be able to get to that point in regards to this certain skill. You almost go through this montage. You kind of black out. You go through this montage throughout the year of you practicing and perfecting this skill, and you get to the point where that person who has been there for a year. And at that point, that person is off doing something different. They've gone on to perfect another skill. They themselves are now in the beginning of something new because they have perfected that skill that you now have a year's worth of experience perfecting. Now, when I say you're in the middle, there's another person behind you. That person behind you is somebody who is where you were a year ago. I feel sometimes if that person who is at the beginning looks at you with that mentality of, I'm never going to get where you are, I shouldn't even try. You, as the person with the year's worth of experience, need to say to them, hey, I was where you were a year ago. It just takes time. Everything, realistically, just takes time. How you choose to spend that time will predict where you are in this next year. If you choose to spend it practicing and perfecting this skill, you'll be where I am. If you choose to give up and not even try, you'll be somewhere else. I don't know where you'll be. It could be somewhere good, could be somewhere bad, could be somewhere better. You just won't be where I am. If you want to be where I am, you need to focus on this skill. You need to focus on perfecting this skill. Because I was where you were, and that's what I did, and that's what I needed to do. And now that person is in the middle of perfecting this skill. Because now they have a person behind them who in a year's time is going to be where they are. And that's how I feel when it comes to getting used to something, when it comes to perfecting something, when it comes to just overall getting something down and into the rhythm of something. It just takes time. It takes more than one take, like this video. I started. But leave with that. Think about that. I'm sorry. I'm like having a brain fart, guys, because I don't know what to. So on that note of having nothing to talk about, we're going to talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about. And I want to talk about the DC universe because that just popped into my brain. And I haven't talked about this on this podcast yet. And I that's a crime. We're 2 episodes in and that's a lot for Elmo. Okay. That's a lot that Elmo has gone 2 episodes and hasn't mentioned her fanatic obsession with the DC universe. Guess what? 2nd episode, we're talking about it. I want to talk about the movies and the DC film franchise because they have fucked up so many times. This is a constant topic in my brain, and I've talked about it with my friends, and I know they're sick of hearing it. I don't care. The movie franchise is fucked up. They fucked up so many times. They've had so many chances to make it right, and they just continuously keep fucking it up. And I'm arguably going to say the same thing about, not even so much the same. It's like there's some things that I have problems with the Spider-Man franchise, but we're not going to talk about that right now. First, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty. We're going to get into the DC universe. Batman. Okay, we've had so many Batmans. We've had how many? I think we've had one live action iteration of Poison Ivy. Off the top of my head, that's all I can think of. And the only reason I can think of that is because it was Uma Thurman, and I love Uma Thurman with all my heart. We've only had one live action iteration of her, I believe. And as to my knowledge, I think only one live action of Mr. Freeze, and that was in the same movie. The rest of them, it's always Joker, Catwoman, and Penguin every single time. Those are the three I see on repeat. And then there was that one stint with Scarecrow, and I think it was The Dark Knight, and that one was okay too. But I think right now the Dark Knight series and Michael Keaton's Batman are my two favorite Batmans, but I had so many opportunities, guys, to utilize more villains, and we haven't. We can branch out, guys. We can branch out. We can talk about it. And instead, I keep seeing the same thing remade. It's like with a lot of movies these days. You keep seeing them remade, and I'm thinking to myself, do we have no original ideas anymore? I want to see something new. I want to see something that just scratches that part of my brain. I want it to scratch that part of my brain that hasn't been scratched since I saw Spirit for the first time as a child. I haven't seen anything like that. And these kids nowadays, they're getting remakes. They're getting just remakes of all the good stuff. And they're not even good remakes. I'm sorry. I said it. Sue me. Arrest me. Take me to jail. I would be much more happier there than seeing another damn Batman remake with Joker. Like, I'm sorry, but no more Joker. We don't need any more Joker. We need something new. We need something fresh. Like when they came out, even that Penguin show that came out, I liked that. I was okay with that because we moved the focus away from Joker. We just need to stop, okay? The Joker has had his time, okay? Heath Ledger was amazing. You can't top that. You can't beat that. Sorry, Jared Leto, I love you, but you can't beat that, all right? I can't see it anymore. I don't want to. I'm done. I'm just done. It's too much. And my problem is, right, we came out with another Batman movie with Robert Pattinson. I have yet to see that movie all the way through. I've only gotten, I think, maybe 30 minutes into it, and I fell asleep. Because, again, we have another Catwoman, which I feel like at this point, they're doing it just to rack up on Catwomans. Same with Jokers. Rack up on Jokers, rack up on Batmans, like James Bond, you know? You always do a specific, like you're always contracted for a certain amount of movies with a James Bond, and then once that's over, you get a new James Bond. And I feel like at that point, Batman has shared that same stigma. Same with Superman. This Batman, I'm sorry, was just not necessarily cutting it for me. I love Robert Pattinson. I think he himself as the Batman, decent. He's not bad at all. Not a bad actor. I'm not saying that. I'm not going to come on here and bash his acting skills. You know why? Because I'm not an actor. I don't know what it takes to do all that crap. But in regards to another Catwoman, Zoe Kravitz, amazing, right? But we don't need another Catwoman, all right? We had Halle Berry, and that was amazing. We had Michelle Pfeiffer, that was amazing. Arguably, I think Anne Hathaway was a really good Catwoman, and I will stand on business on that. So many people were hating on Anne Hathaway for Catwoman. I do not stand for Anne Hathaway Catwoman slander on this channel. I don't stand for it because I thought she was amazing. I thought she put so much work into it, and I thought she did an amazing job. Okay? There, I said it. I don't know what you want me to say about that, but I don't stand for Anne Hathaway Catwoman slander. But here's the thing. We got Zoe Kravitz, amazing. Let's move on. Let's do something different. Let's broaden our horizons in regards to the comic books. Let's explore a new storyline. Let's explore a different multiverse. Let's do something of that nature, please, for the love of everything that's holy. It's the same with this is my one problem I have with the Spider-Man universe. Andrew Garfield should have gotten a third movie. Andrew Garfield should have gotten a third movie because they introduced Black Cat, I think is her name. But, you know, we see her not in the costume, but, you know, she was introduced. She was introduced, and I remember seeing that movie when it first came out, and I was so pissed when we didn't get a third movie because all, like, the people were like, it didn't do good in the box office. Screw your box office, okay? Every time something doesn't get the third movie it deserves, it's always the same excuse. It didn't do well in the box office. You know what? I'll sell my organs to privately fund that bullcrap because I'm done. I'm done with us getting cut off, okay? If it's good, it's good. Because guess what? We'll come back years later and we'll be like, why didn't we make a third movie? Screw you. Screw you. Like, seriously, what? Like, everybody told you should have made a third one, and you didn't. And then there's also people who, when the movie first came out, they were like, I don't like it. And then years down the line, they're like, oh, they should have made a third movie. I loved it. Don't go back on your word now. I tell you I hate a movie, I'm going to stand on business with that. To this day, I'm going to say I hate that movie. For instance, Mission Impossible movies. I'm sorry, I am not a fan of them. The actors, I'm sure they put a lot of time into those movies, and I'm not bad. Whenever I bash a movie, I don't bash the actors because I'm sure they put their heart and soul into that movie, and I'm sure other people genuinely love those movies. Me, personally, I'm not a fan, and that's okay. I was not a fan of the Mission Impossible movies. And you know what? I'm going to stand on business to that to this day, because I'm not going to come back years down the line and say, oh, I always loved the Mission Impossible movie. No. I'm going to reference this video years down the line. I'm going to be like, see, told you, I've always just have not been a fan of them. But you know what? That's my personal opinion. It's like, no. Another point. I know we're kind of trailing off from the DC universe, but just give me a moment. Gorillaz. Listen, I've been riding with Gorillaz since I was like a child. I remember like when Gorillaz would come on the radio. I loved their music, and I still love their music. I've always loved their music. I've always listened to it. I've always loved it. And there are people who, now that it's a big thing on Fortnite, they're like, oh, I am a #1 Gorillaz fan, blah, blah, blah. No, you're not. And I can stand on business with that, because when I try to tell everybody, oh, I love the Gorillaz, they're like, that's weird. Now that they're on Fortnite, everybody's like, oh, I love it. Respectfully, what the hell? What? I hate that. Not even so much, like, if you come out to me and say, you know what, you were right, I've seen the light, I appreciate Gorillaz now. I didn't always like them, but I like them now. That I would respect. What I don't respect is you lying and straight up lying on Murdoch's name, going, oh, I've always loved them. Bullshit. Stand on your opinion. Stand firm on your opinion, and if it changes, it changes. That's fine, but don't lie. Don't be a mentirosa. Don't lie, because I'll catch you. But the same goes for like the DC, the DC universe. I have always made it a point that the Robert Pattinson Batman is just not my favorite. It's not the worst, but it's not my favorite, and I'm going to stand on business in regards to that. It's the same with like the reusing of Joker and Catwoman. Listen, we have other villains, guys. We do, and I'm a big fan of expanding the universe, especially if you have this money to create something new in regards to a movie. Expand that universe, okay? The best Joker arc that I saw was Christian Bale, Dark Knight. That was my favorite. And we did it. We had Heath Ledger. Let's move on. No. They're gonna green light 2 Joker movies that we really did not need. I'm so sorry. I did not need those 2 Joker movies. I still don't need them. Did I watch them? Of course I watched them. I need to know. I need to be knowledgeable in my DC universe bullcrap, as my mom would call it. But we didn't need them. I'm a firm believer in that. Like, even, for instance, DC animated universe. You have the DC live action universe, and then you have the DC animated universe. DC animated universe, we're exploring different arcs. We're exploring different storylines. Like even the Harley Quinn show. I love the Harley Quinn show. It's giving us something new. It's giving us something fresh. Instead of seeing the Harley Quinn where she's like, anything for you, Mr. J. We're seeing, you know what? Fuck Mr. J. I'm going off on my own. And we get to see this whole like cool arc where Gotham just falls to the villains. And it's amazing. It's something new, and that's what I want. I don't even necessarily want, oh, let's stay true to the comics. That's great and all, but give me something fun. Give me something that scratches my brain. Like, that might be very controversial, but I don't care. I want something different. I want something new. I want to explore all these other cool, fun comics that have been written, and we just keep being given the same thing. Dare I say, I thoroughly enjoyed the Zack Snyder cut of the Justice League movie. Specifically the Zack Snyder cut, though, because we got introduced to Martian Manhunter in the end. Yes, please. We got to see that. We got to see where, you know, the Justice League started to get more of its prominent members. And, you know, it just ended. Zack Snyder, I don't know if he was like, I'm done, or if somebody said to Zack Snyder, you're done, but it makes me mad because it's like with the Spider-Man. We start to get these really cool characters that we've never really seen before in the live action movie verse. And then all of a sudden, boom, start over, redo the same story. Let's not do that. Huh? Let's do something. Let's continue with what we had something so good going on. It's like in a relationship. We had something so good going on and you just had to go and fuck it up. I was so excited and then you just go and fuck it up. I want expansion. I want domain expansion. Sorry. I want this to be expanded. I want it to be, I just want something new. I want that part of my brain to be scratched. I want that part of my brain where it's just watching Spirit on repeat. I want that new movie that somebody with this amazing, beautiful brain, I want them to come out with this movie and just like Spirit go, here I am, this is me. You can bring Bryan Adams with you too if you want. I don't care. That was a bomb ass soundtrack and you can't tell me any different. All in all though, here's the thing. That's just my opinion on the movie, like live action movie universe. Don't even get me started on the animated universe. Like that's a whole nother pickle. All right. That's a whole nother ordeal that we could get into another day. Are we going to get into it today? Probably not. All in all, if you guys want to hear more about, any of those things, I am very willing to talk about it. I can sit here and go on about comic books for hours. I can go on about DC Universe. I mean, here on the background of my wall, you see I have my two beautiful men, Red Hood and Nightwing. I got those prints off Etsy, actually. I don't have the guy who did those, but I'll give him a shout out in the next episode because he does a really good job. He has this really cool Etsy store online where he does a bunch of prints for all these comic book characters, and I love him, and I really want to go back and get more of them. So hopefully, because at one point he did have his Etsy shop closed, so I hope that when I go look at it next time it's open. Hey, Editing Zoe here. So they are still closed, but his name is The Cave Comics on Etsy. Because he does a really good job. But I'm more than willing to talk about any of these things you guys want to talk about. Leave a comment of topics and I'll add them to my list of topics I have in my notes in my phone. I keep them in a little folder anytime I'm out in public and I'm like, you know what? This has been racking my brain. I put it in my notes and I check it off whenever I talk about it. But give me ideas of what you guys want me to talk about, what you want my opinion on, what you want to hear, life advice. It won't be good advice, but it'll be advice. All in all, I hope whether you're driving, whether you're coming home from work, whether you're going to work, I hope you have a wonderful day. And I hope to see you guys next time on the 3rd episode. And if you're watching, I love you. Goodbye. I also love the listeners, but you know, somebody needed to tell you that they loved you today. And you know what? That's going to be me since you're watching. I'm so sorry. Anyways, I'm just going to end it. Have a good day, everyone.